Now you sort of kissed it a little bit, where you were talking about the next element, which was the takeaway in the backswing. You've shown us some. Is there anything else you want to
Oh
talk
my
about, or at
goodness.
least address
Oh,
there with the back?
absolutely. Sorry for keep pushing that away, but here, there's confusion with like we all can have so many different swings.
Mm.
And the real reality is there's really only three swings we can have, right? Once we get set up, we can either take it steep out that way, we can take it back this way, or we can go inside. Varies, but that's basically it.
Yes.
And so it's very difficult. Now, we do have golfers, tour players, Matt Wolf being able to go up there and dropping it. We do have Victor Hovland's going underneath and coming right back down on plane. But the
Hmm.
majority of the golfers on the planet, they're not as talented as those two. Those are outliers. They are the best at what they do. For the rest of the world, it'll be much easier just to be on that swing plane.
Hmm.
So the better we can get it on plane, the less manipulations we have to do on the downswing. So one of the drills that I've got in there, when we start our golf swing to take the club back, one of the things is that we have to remember is that the club head wants to fall down all the time because of
Uh-huh.
gravity. So we do have to have a certain amount of speed in order to fight that gravity. And if we can use some momentum in the backswing, momentum will go in a straight line versus if I just take it, no momentum, and just pick it up. So
Yeah.
I've got a great drill in there where you can just stop, hover the club up in the air. And what I want you to do is just go ahead and go forward first with the swing, with the club at about a foot or two, and then go ahead and swing it back. And you'll see if your setup is right, your grip is right, and you go forward and you swing it back, it can only go in on plane. You would have to do a lot of work to fight against that force. It's that speed that it needs to be. So there's a little bit of speed that needs to be happening, but you can get that momentum by going forward and then going back. And
Look.
that's why Hogan talked a lot about the waggle. He was like a waggle, waggle, waggle. What he was doing, and he said it in his book, he was getting a running start. And
Yeah.
so now we know with technology that with foot pressures and stuff, as we start our golf swing to go back, there's going to be some pressures to start the golf swing. And that's why you see like Kyle Berkshire and all these guys using so much of that because we need to get the swing started.
Yeah.
The swing is just starting, and I always imagine the swing like just somebody in a kid on a swing. They can't move until somebody says, "Hey, push me."
Hmm.
We got to get momentum going. So that's what that little forward press does, going forward, and then you can take it back, and that should help you take it on a better plane.
The great Nick Price is like a mentor to me. To this day, he does that, and he's one of the best ball strikers ever. It begs the question, though, Joe, because you make such a good point. The club is static on the ground, we're in posture, and then all of a sudden we're going to go from zero into the backswing to load up energy to go to maximum speed through contact. That start, is it sort of body and arms in unison, or body first, arms follow, or is it arms first, body follows? Is that a personal thing, or what's your take on that?
Thank you. That's a great idea. Okay, so when we talk about this swing plane at this angle, one of the things that we can use, because you can turn too much and you can be in there, and
Yeah.
you can lift your arms too much and you can be there. So we want to make sure that we can get it more on plane. And so I have in there about setting your right arm into the right position at address. And if you can get your right arm into a good position, the backswing plane goes in three directions. It's going backwards, but it's going upward, and it's going to third. It's going inward, and
Okay.
so it's very difficult to time all that. Some are able to do that by turning or whatever, but the right arm folding. Okay, the right arm is the only joint right from here that can go back. It can go up and it can go in. So
Mhm.
educating the right arm to fold properly will allow this to also get this swing to be on plane. So one of the things that I've taught the boys is basically they two thoughts: fold, unfold. And that's all we're doing in the golf swing is reversing the roll, coming right back down. Now there's some plane shifts and stuff, but for the most part, that right arm is playing such a big key. So I think Rory McIlroy the other day, you know, not the other day, but he had won the tournament there. He had worked on his golf swing, and he talked a couple things about his right arm structure, because if you put the right arm in more of a better position like this versus here, you can start taking the club in weird position also. So it's going to help your takeaway and allows you to fold that right arm. So
And
one way that I do that was to make sure that the right elbow points in a little bit in front of the right hip. And so
okay.
then you can see the right arm and the left arm is pretty even. It should be just below it, below the left arm. And
Mhm.
so now that'll allow, all I have to do, and again, we talked about this, if we could set up these things, then we can just turn and fold and then unfold and come down, and then focus on ball flight laws, which is really what our intention should be when we're trying to move the ball. But the plane of the swing is going to give you the best chance. You know, it's just not enough time in the swing to do things. If you're a tour player, the better plane you can be on and less timing, the less timing you have to do. And you don't want to do that when you're playing for millions of dollars. So the simpler the swing we can make it, the simpler the better.
That's the thing that strikes me as you demonstrate the backswing, how you talk about how the right or the trail elbow works and how basically you turn and the elbow folds and then you turn back and the elbow straightens. You know, it is as simple as
Absolutely. Just, you know, the simpler the better. I mean, the more, you know, you'll notice in the book there's very little complex words. I don't have a extension, flexion. I mean, I understand it all. I understand the swing, what happens here in that little bit of time. And what I tried to do is to blend it all together so that we can get you in a good position up at the top so that you have a halfway chance of coming down. And we haven't even talked about the down, because even if you get to that, there's other things, but at least you have a better chance if you're in that position. You can't be in a Matt Wolf or somebody else's position because you're not as talented as they are. I think we have to stop trying to copy tour players, or I mean, we love what they do in that, but they are gifted at what they do. We have to remember that.
okay, point well taken. I want to ask you this now, some checkpoints for folks at the top of the
Awesome, awesome. Well, as we did before, and just got into a golf posture by tilting forward. And when we're making our turn, you can see the shoulders are tilting on a nice plane there. So one of the things that I look for at the top of the golf swing is where this left arm is. And this left arm, if it's above the right shoulder, then we are a little bit steep. And
Okay.
if we're below it, then we're too flat. Now,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with people being a little bit above that. That's just a starting point. But what that means is that's 90 degrees. If I stood level here and my left arm just went across my chest, I'd be 90 degrees covering my right shoulders.
Yes.
And so that's the whole idea, is to try to get that down here tilted. So at the top of the golf swing, I'm going to have my left arm covering that right shoulder. And by letting the left arm hang here, you'll see that the left arm is in a much straighter position. And I'm not trying to make it straight. It's going to go straight because we started it
Uh-huh.
with that properly.
So tilted shoulders, the trail sides above the left. How about left shoulder behind the ball? We're in terms of
You
the
know, the amount of that turn, or how much that is, obviously we know the tour players are, you know, have made a big turn and so forth. One of the things we have to remember when we're taking our backswing, first, we want to be on the right plane so that we can come back down. But
Mhm.
when we do that, we talked earlier about width. We don't want to overdo these angles. When we bend at the elbow, bend at the wrist, we have to undo that. We have to undo that and undo that. And I think now with some technology like gears, we can see that, you know, very few tour players are ever at 90 degrees of bend. They're like less than angles. If anything, less than parallel will allow you to come more from the inside, because as you start to spin out, this is of course the higher handicaps, they just don't have the time to undo those angles. And even tour players don't, because they swing faster.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because every week I'll be putting out a new video so that you can try them out on the golf course or the driving range. Also, if you want more information, check out my website at www.joeparkgolf.com, where you can find all my contact information. Thanks for watching.